Hi, it's Michael from Culture Talk and Tours, and I'm here in Kaoshiung City in the south of Taiwan with my good friend Sean. And Sean, your last name is?
Roache.
Roache.
Okay.
Yes.
So hi everyone.
Yes, and we're here in Kaohsiung because yesterday was your graduation.
Nice.
Congratulations again.
Thank you for coming.
Yes. Now Sean came to my show in Kaoshiung City in April, but that is not the first time I heard about you. Now I'm going to do some bragging about Sean because he won't do it. When I interviewed Madam Ambassador Bowman at the St. Vincent and Grenadines Embassy, she kept showing me all of this beautiful artwork. When you walk in the embassy, at the end of the hall, there's that wonderful, it's a collage piece.
It's a mixed media.
Mixed media. And then there's another piece near the entrance to the embassy.
That one is in the traditional Chinese style.
Yes, and then there's also another one, I believe, in the boardroom.
Okay, that one is a stylized. I use almost like a traditional African approach to make the faces a bit more stylized.
Yes.
So it's more geometric shapes.
Yes.
But all of them are linked to a theme of friendship.
Oh,
which is
okay.
very appropriate.
Yes.
For the embassy.
For the embassy. And all very different. So every time I kept saying, is this who? And Madam Ambassador Bowman would say, same artist, same artist. So I wanted to meet Sean. I met you at your National Day celebration, that dance party that we had in the
that was
courtyard.
Quite fun,
yes. And you were the photographer and I was the videographer. And we've stayed in touch on Instagram. Now, Sean does many things. So I knew you as kind of paintings and collage and mixed media. And then you were taking pictures, so you also do photography.
Yes, my range of skills would stretch multidisciplinary arts.
Right.
So I do videography, photography, animation,
right.
And I'm an engineer.
Right.
So these skills were acquired over a period of time that I've been inside this field. So I've been exposed to the arts since I was about 3 years old.
Right.
So my mom, and it's funny that my art teacher in college was the same person who gave me materials when I was around 3 years old.
Oh, wow.
So, and my mom keep encouraging me to go to different summer camps and the like.
Right.
So although I didn't do art in secondary school,
right.
I still pursued it at A level and as an associate degree.
Okay.
And I did other courses in different fields.
Okay.
And that gave me the confidence and the exposure in order to communicate certain messages.
Right.
And the thing about the visual arts that people may overlook is that it is a language.
Yes.
And once you can communicate in that language, it's so powerful.
Yes.
Because people may see a picture or a photograph and they say, oh, that looks so nice.
Yes, beautiful.
It's beautiful.
Yes. What's the story?
What's the story behind it?
Yes.
And it can trigger a certain emotion.
Yes. Now, when Sean came to see my show, it was the day after the opening. You weren't able to make the opening. And because Sean is an artist, and in fact you've done printmaking as well,
yes.
I think we spent 3 hours in the gallery.
We did, didn't we?
And we closed my gallery, and then we went for dinner and kept talking. Can you show us some of your printmaking so you can explain the lino cut technique? So when I was explaining my show, people couldn't really understand it, but you were one of the few people that did. So you've got 2 examples here.
Okay, so
now this is an example of a lino cut print that you've worked on.
Yes, this print was created about 7 years ago.
Okay.
And I did a YouTube video that explains it in a bit more depth.
Okay.
But briefly, it is a cut of the Amazonian dingy.
Right.
On some trees.
Right.
And around it is something known as Adinkra symbols.
Okay.
Adinkra symbols is African writing form.
Okay.
And these symbols around it represents steadfastness and prudence.
Okay. And then I'll take a picture of this. So it's, it is actually almost like see-through.
It is.
Yeah. And so we'll take a close-up of this. Now this is the one I've seen
It's in
you.
the embassy. It's actually, there are not many people who have this print.
Okay.
So the embassy is one location. I also think there is a university in Taiwan
Right.
that has this, the print of it, the larger print.
Okay.
And the community college also gifted it to some.
Oh, okay. Now, this is one example of your lino cut, but you have done others as well.
I have done others.
Okay.
I have done others.
And then this was an interesting story that you had.
This, anytime I sell my work or gift them,
Right.
I often put a distinguishing mark other
Okay.
than my signature
Right.
to verify that this is an original piece of art.
Okay.
So this is the seal that I use in order to express that.
Okay. So that's the seal here. So you would put this on the back of a painting,
Yes.
on the bottom of a sculpture, anything.
Yes.
And
Just to
this,
signify that this is the
this is
original.
your work. So if you don't have this on it, it's not real.
It's not real.
Okay.
And if someone just take a picture and try to copy it, it would not be the same
No.
because it's a special ink.
Oh, okay. He's very thorough. Now you got that, and you also have a beautiful painting.
Oh yes.
And what's the story behind this painting?
Well, this painting branched off into another project.
Right.
So in my country, I lived in a place called Ratamil.
Right.
And next to Ratamil, there's a beach called Kanash Beach.
Okay.
One evening when I was on my way to the beach around 5 p.m.,
Right.
I decided to sit and paint the landscape just to practice and
Right.
make sure I get my flow going.
Right.
And then my colleague
Yes.
and his girlfriend
Right.
at the time,
Uh,
they came and they saw me and said to me, Roach, put me in the picture. And
Right.
I'm like, sure, why not?
Right.
And with a stroke of a brush,
Right.
I added them into it in
Wow.
order to immortalize them in this
Wow.
painting called Couple on the Beach.
Couple on the beach, so you can see that.
And this painting is also the inspiration of a jigsaw puzzle that I
Right.
have by the same name, Couple on the Beach.
Okay.
Now, the reason why I created this jigsaw puzzle is because through my research, I realized that jigsaw puzzles is a great way to bond with people,
Right.
exercise the mind,
Right.
and it also
Fine
gives you the
motor skills.
opportunity to be creative.
Yeah. Exactly.
So imagine that you have someone in the hospital.
Right.
It's not to bring something dire, but imagine that you're in a hospital
Right.
and you have nothing to do.
Right.
And then someone gives you a puzzle for
Right.
you to occupy your time. Whatever struggles or worries that you have at the time, it's transferred
Right.
from that into recapturing a moment of
Wow.
a couple, these same people, on the beach in beautiful St. Vincent and Grenadines.
So you've had this turned into a puzzle here in Taiwan?
I actually, yes, I did.
Yeah.
And it has English translation and Chinese translation.
Okay, and I think this is actually for sale at the embassy, isn't it?
It is at the embassy.
Yes.
In fact, the ambassador herself, she completed the very first
Oh, okay.
first one.
Wow.
Yes.
And she's framed that, hasn't
Yes,
she?
she did.
Wow.
Yes.
So
Amazing.
that's another piece that you have.
Yeah.
Okay, so you've changed this into a puzzle. Are you thinking about doing that for other artwork?
I am actually, but the way in which I go about things, first I observe
Right.
before I actually do something. I
Right.
don't want to just do
Rush
something
into it.
random.
No.
It needs to have a sense of purpose.
Right.
Because for me, art is very powerful.
Yes.
And if you're not careful with what you create, you could have negative repercussions.
Right, exactly. So we are here in Sean's kind of studio gallery room,
Mhm.
and he's got a few examples of his artwork. So you have this painting, and then what is that one that you had hanging up? That's
This is of the same location, Kanash. So
Okay.
it's a series of paintings.
okay,
They were on exhibit at the Beckway Museum,
okay,
the Beckway Gallery,
Okay.
run by my friend Lucy.
right.
She's also Canadian.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And that's the other island, right?
Yes, it's
I've learned about that.
largest island.
Oh, is it? Yeah, okay. I need to study up.
Okay, so this is a stylized depiction of Kaoshiung Beach.
Okay,
And the name of this image is The Spirit World at Kaosh.
Okay.
2.
okay,
So why did I call it the Spirit World? Because Kaosh has a very interesting history when you look at St. Vincent and Grenadines.
right,
It is within this location that some Garifuna people reside, and
Right.
also nearby is where they were actually exiled from
Okay.
St. Vincent, so Calico area, they
Right.
were exiled
and sent to,
and sent to Baliso,
Oh,
whereby half the population died.
right,
But interestingly now, the total Garifuna population would be about 500,000 people total, including in St. Vincent,
right,
from about 2,500 people survived
right,
from that exile.
right.
So when I speak about the spirit world at Kaosh, as a Vincentian, there is a deep connection to this place, especially there's a mansion, a hotel that is there, but it was because a series of events happened and the persons who were constructing it, they died.
Right.
They say that it is haunted, so no one ever continued building
Okay.
at that location.
And I did hear that these people were exiled because they were fighting,
Oh yes.
protesting against the British,
Well,
and then the British said we don't want them here or something.
within the Caribbean, St. Vincent technically had persons who were not enslaved
Right,
for the shortest period of time.
right,
However, we had one of the most strictest level of enslavement
yes,
because they removed the language. If you were seen practicing aspects of Garifuna culture and spirituality,
right,
you were killed on the spot.
right,
And even with that said, this is a people who fought towards and maintained peace against the British
right,
for over 30 years or so.
yes,
And because they noticed of unfair treatment, they decided to stand up for what they believe in.
right,
I'll give you a story. There's a place in St. Vincent called Sign Hill.
right,
And I was told that during the battle with the British, about 11 Garifuna men, they took a 1-ton cannon
mhm,
and they carried it up on a hill, Zion Hill,
right,
in order to fire at the cannons at Fort Charlotte.
okay,
And in St. Vincent, all the forts are not faced outwards, they're faced inwards.
Okay.
Because the British were so afraid of the Garifuna warriors
oh,
that the Europeans were not the threats.
Right.
It was the people who lived there
Okay.
that were considered the real threats.
right,
Yeah.
interesting.
Mm.
I need to go to see for myself.
Mm.
Now, this brings up the question, this is the style that you're working on, and it's similar to these ones
It is.
behind us. Now, I just said to Sean, what are these? Because it looks like chalk, and because you've painted, it's on canvas,
It is.
and because you've painted it this kind of charcoal color, it looks like a chalkboard.
It does. It
And
does
that's,
actually.
and that's your intention.
It is
Okay,
intentional because during my experience in Taiwan, I've had the opportunity to be a cram school teacher and
Right.
teaching in cram schools.
right,
And I wanted to combine that essence of being impermanent,
right,
as some people may see persons going through this workplace as they just come and go, they come and go.
right,
But in reality, their presence is permanent. So
Right.
if I do this, it is not chalk.
right.
It is actually carved into the image.
So you're carving it into the
The
canvas.
canvas itself.
So you've painted over
Yes,
And
that is
then-
one of the approach, and I combine it's mixed media.
mixed media. So is this the original color of the canvas?
It is.
Okay.
It is.
So you're doing quite a few
Yes,
layers?
and this is not actually black, it's actually a combination of different colors.
I'm sure, yeah.
Because if you look closely at it from an angle, you would see that it is not one flat color.
No. So you've And you're layering it on.
Yes.
Okay. Now, is this in your head or you did a sketch? You've got a sketchbook?
Well,
We're going to see the sketchbook.
This is actually a series of 7 images.
Okay.
Well, 7 works. They're called, the theme I used was places I visited twice.
Okay.
And it's 7 locations in Kaoshiung that were so memorable that I had to go to them a second time.
Okay.
And for example, this is a place that is not too far from here, which is called Guangdong Mountain.
Right.
And it is somewhere that I visit with my friends. And the first time I got to visit it was on my first school trip for my course,
Right.
which is the International Program on Artificial Intelligence, which I studied at Kaoshiung University.
Right.
They took us to this mountain, and there is a store there that sells a special type of jelly. I can't remember the name now, unfortunately.
Right.
So I decided to put this place into there because it's somewhere that is, when you go on a mountain trail, you may want to get refreshments.
Right.
And this is a store that people would always go back to.
Right. So it's stuck in your head, and,
Yes,
and
places
that's
that I visit twice.
that's a wonderful title. So we're gonna take pictures of that because we don't have a camera person today. So we're gonna move the camera and look at more of Sean's work in this series. Okay? So let's see more of his work. Now we're back with more of these artworks from the series, and you said there are 9?
There's a total of 7.
7,
7
okay.
images for places I visited twice.
Places he's visited twice. So we've got this one here. This is
This is a night market in Kaoshiung.
okay.
It is located near Pier 2. It's a traditional night market.
Okay.
So my friend and I, we were walking through the area, and they took me to this place, and I said, "This place is so beautiful."
Right.
And there was a certain plant in the area, and I said, "This is very distinct in comparison to all the other sections in the night market."
Right.
And I decided to take a photo of it.
Right.
But I did not want it to be too obvious
Right.
where the place is. So I only focused on the plant within the area,
Okay.
and I left out the other sections because to me the plant was the most distinct thing within that space.
Right.
It gave it the element of this unique quality.
Well, if you said this was from a night market, I would never know because
Yeah,
I
a
thought,
traditional market.
I thought that was a garden. But yeah, and that is an artist where you're seeing things where other people don't. And I'm sure you're like this with your friends who
Yeah.
don't study art. You see something that they see every day.
And see it from a different perspective.
Yeah, and you see it. But it's like if you came to visit me in Canada, you would be excited to see Niagara Falls, and I would be like, And then you take me to some beach in St. Vincent,
You're like,
and I'm losing it, and he's acting like, oh, I had this when I was growing up. And then this one behind us,
This is the
rooftop.
armor
Oh,
that goes to Qijing.
oh, okay.
And I love that you mentioned that it's a rooftop.
Right.
Because the images are designed for you to play with your mind a little. Because it's not necessary for me to tell you where to place it.
No,
Everyone would have their little
different
twist.
idea, yeah. Because
So
it kind of feels like maybe it could be laundry drying.
exactly, that's
Yeah.
the beauty. That's it. It's like a just salt image.
Yeah.
But with that said, the
Interesting.
image is actually a boat, which
Right.
is here.
Okay, that's
This is me imposing the idea, but it's
Right.
actually a boat, and this is the reflection of the light on the water.
wow.
And this is the section where you walk into to go onto the boat, and these are just reflections of light.
Wow.
But that's one of the reasons why I chose not to put it in color,
Right.
because then it immediately puts an interpretation on
Yeah.
it. But when I put it in this approach, it gives you more freedom
Yeah, you have
to try to think.
Yeah.
And
What are,
let your mind work to
What am I
say, well, what
seeing?
am I seeing?
yes.
And one of the reasons why I simplified the image is because from my observations of people, especially using their phones on Instagram, people don't look at images deeply.
No.
They don't. So it's just like, next.
Yeah.
But simplicity, I have a popular quote that I say, even simplicity is a skill.
Yes.
And with this level of simplicity, it allows you to think and question.
Yeah.
And that is very critical.
And you might see something that the artist was not thinking about, which is why we spent so much time in my show. Now, Sean has these 7 paintings, mixed media works, and he also has the sketchbooks. So this is
of
the work that's in the embassy.
well, 2 of the mixed media work that you spoke about.
Right.
As soon as you enter the embassy,
Right.
these are some of the developmental sketches of those work.
So you've got lots of sketchbooks, and then if that wasn't enough, you didn't write the book, but
No, I didn't.
you did all the
I designed the
illustrations.
illustrations
So
and the
it's
cover and the like.
401 Vinci Caribbean proverbs. So we'll take some video of that.
I could explain the cover to you.
Okay.
Okay, so within the Creole language,
Right.
we often say words that can have double meanings.
Right.
And the way in which we say words, it can have certain sensations, texture
Right.
to these words. So someone would say, donkey reach, horse reach. It may just seem abstract,
Right.
but the way in which it's said in the context, it would have a level of texture or taste to where
Okay.
we go. Or even this, when we see something, it would have a certain smell. So there's a combination of the sophistication of Creole language
Right.
that is overlooked. When you hear someone from the Caribbean speaking, you say, oh, maybe that's a Jamaican accent, but it may not say it's a Vinci accent.
Right.
But the thing is that these languages have special attributes that people overlook.
Right.
And only people within that culture really get the essence of it, because when they say it and they just get it.
Then they know.
Yeah.
So we'll take a close up of this, but you've got an ear and a nose and a.
Yeah, well, ideally it's by African art, but we could also link it to Cubism, whereby we use multiple perspectives
Okay.
in order to put.
And this Nigel A. Morgan.
Yes, he has a very interesting story.
Okay.
And I would.
Well, when I come, he's in St. Vincent.
I'm not sure where he is presently, but he was in St. Vincent the last time we spoke with him.
Okay, hip, toe, foot.
So if you can read a quote from the book, or maybe.
Don't make your finger longer than your hand.
Yeah, so don't make your finger longer than your hand. And it means don't make your finger longer than your hand.
Right.
It means do not steal.
Do not steal.
Yes.
Okay, so.
And the usage would be don't make your finger longer than your hand. Be careful.
Right. So we can. This is actually quite interesting. I'd like to have a look through it. And so you've done all of these.
Yes, I did all the illustrations.
All the illustrations. And when was this happened?
This would have been about 5 years ago, 5 to 6 years ago.
Wonderful. Okay, so we'll take some pictures of this. Now you just graduated, planning to go return home to St. Vincent and the Grenadines, but we're going to stay in touch.
Yes, definitely.
And if you're doing any kind of artistic endeavors, because you also have your job is you're a police officer.
Yeah, I am a police officer.
Yes.
Which is quite an interesting mix.
Yes, police officer artist. So you've been telling people don't make your hand longer than your.
Yeah. Technically, yeah.
Don't steal, right? So we will follow you on Instagram. You've got your personal Instagram, and then you also have the.
I have a business page that focuses on photography, videography, marketing of businesses. But with Vibes Multimedia,
Right.
the approach is to make things affordable for people based on their circumstances. So students will have a special price in comparison to a corporate client.
Yes.
And they have special features that would distinguish them.
Okay.
So the key thing is that I try to create opportunities for people, because it's essential that we have opportunities in life to grow.
Yeah. and people that help you, you pay back by helping
Exactly.
other people. So Sean is one of the people that Ambassador Bowman said that I must meet, and I'm so glad that I got the chance to meet you. So we'll follow you on Vibes Media.
And you can follow me also on Sean _Roache on
Yeah.
Instagram.
And we'll post all of that. So this is not the last time we're going to see Sean. I am determined to find my way to St. Vincent. So it's on camera now. I'm saying it. So hopefully we'll see you creating some super island-inspired art.
Well, if you
soon.
come to St. Vincent, you will see murals that my classmates might did, and it reflects the heritage of the island.
Okay.
I can tell you that.
Yes.
And I must give a shout out to my art teacher,
Okay.
Bonnie Rudet. She's been with me through the process.
Okay.
And also a special person who recently died this week, Pilling Pollard. He was
Okay.
also one of my teachers and mentors. A great masked man,
Right.
renowned for his skill. Yeah.
Okay. So we'll stay in touch. And he's a very interesting guy, and he just has so much that he's working on, like even illustrations in a book. We were looking for some things to show for this video, and we just keep pulling up more. He's got more sketchbooks behind us, but we've got to go shoot another interview.
Yes, we do.
So thank you, Sean.
Thank you for coming, Mike.
Yeah, thanks for showing me your work, and we will see you on the next episode.
Bye.